Miles is down here on my screen down there. We got Patty on that side.
How you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Guys, good to have you guys here. Thinkific Live, another episode here. We've got our good buddy Miles Beckler. We're going to be talking all about content strategy and his just explosive growth on YouTube. First of all, guys, if you guys can hear us, let us know first. We want to make sure you can hear us. So drop a hello, hi, yes in the comments there. And feel free to tag your friends or share this out on your channels as well, who might benefit from this conversation and answering some of your questions. So Miles, Patty, why don't you guys say hello and let people know who you guys are.
Yeah, I'll quick go and we'll let Miles do it. So, hey everyone, it's Patty from Thinkific. You know who I am, your friendly neighborhood Brit here in Vancouver. I hope you're all doing well today. And it's a real pleasure to have the one and only, and I'm going to admit slightly, I am like fanning out a bit about this because I'm a huge fan of Miles Beckler. So, one, it's an honor to have you here, mate. Miles, thank you so much for joining us for this Facebook Live.
Cheers. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And, you know, I'm excited to jump in, see how I can help, see how I can share. And everyone who's watching, where are you watching from? I always like seeing how international it is. So in the comments, put like, I don't know, you in the UK, you in Canada, the US, Australia, Bali, where you guys at? I'm curious.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's a real pleasure.
It's a good start. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to put this on mute. Awesome. That's a great start, guys. So I'm just going to jump in here. We've got Roy from Israel. We've got Art from Tucson.
Hello.
Can you guys hear us? Yeah, good. And then on Facebook as well. So guys on Facebook, let us know where you guys are from. So yeah, Miles, this is all about you, man. So why don't you tell people who you are and kind of what you do, you know, what you've been doing on YouTube, just a little bit of high level, and then we'll kind of dig into some of your strategies.
Totally. So my goal is to be the most helpful internet marketer in the world. I still think I'm just kind of a normal guy. I've just jumped forth in creating content. I started making money online in 2003. I was essentially direct linking people from MySpace over to affiliate programs. Again, that was 13 years ago. You could say I was spamming MySpace in its infancy. That's the wrong way to build a business. That fell apart, went literally to zero overnight. And then about 6 years later, my wife and I co-founded a website on WordPress. We still run that website to this day. So it's about 10 years old. That website just had its 30 millionth visit. Actually, last month, we crossed that huge monumental milestone, mostly from organic search engine traffic from Google through blogging. And then in 2016, I started a YouTube channel. I was tired of just seeing so many overhyped, overpriced BS products. I bought a couple of them for several $1,000s and I went through them and they were terrible. They were teaching old things that didn't work. And I'm like, man, I know more than this. And finally, that inner voice was like, well, if you know more, then teach it, prove it to yourself, right? That kind of like internal dialogue. So I started making YouTube videos in August of 2016. Here it is, March 2019. So about 2.5 years, I've got 4.3 million views, about 90,000 subscribers, growing really quickly. And I'm using the same philosophy, the same ideas, the same strategy that my wife used on her blog. And now I'm teaching others. And it works pretty much every time when you go about it the right way with strategy. So I think that's me. And that's kind of what we're going to dig into here, I guess.
Yeah, I was just going to say you've definitely been doing things the right way, and obviously, you know, there's no real shortcuts. Certainly, when it comes to content creation, and obviously, you know, making your blog and yourself like search optimizable as well. So, could you maybe just quickly go back to some of the start, or when you started creating in particular the channel as well? How did you start to figure out what really people wanted to learn? You know, I know you had your own experiences, but how did you start to pin those subjects down?
Right. So the first thing is I went through the process with my wife, right? Like we built a business from scratch. We had literally $95.40 is what we invested. That was domain name and web hosting. And we've grown this business that's generated millions of dollars. So I brought the experience. So I had the experience and it was like, what do they actually want to know? And when you know this huge body of work, it's like, where do I start, right? So literally I got challenged to do something that pushed me out of my comfort zone every day for 90 days. days. I chose doing a video and I just started. I literally just started with that first piece because creating content was so awkward for me. I was behind the scenes guy up until that point. I was the conversion rate optimization. I was the Facebook guy. I was the SEO. I wasn't the forefront. So I just started with anything I could get out. The theory is if you've got a garden hose wrapped up on the side of your house all winter, when you come out in spring, you turn on the water that comes out is just nasty. It's murky, it's brown. You wouldn't want to drink it. That's my first video if you go back and watch my early videos. But if you let the water run long enough, the water will get crystal clear and the content will get better and better and better. And that's what happened with my content. Tactically speaking, two specific things I did. Number one, I imagined at every point in time, I was teaching a good friend how to build a business from scratch. So every time I wanted to make a new video, it was like, all right, what would they need to know next? What's that next thing they could do that would help them on the path? And I kind of let myself move forward in that way, imagining I was teaching a friend, just me and my camera, right? I was using my cell phone that I just had at the time. The other side is keyword research, the actual skill of keyword research. I've been a keyword research geek forever. It's an amazing data point that gives you your finger on the pulse of mass consciousness, and you're literally able to go see what questions people are asking, what phrases people are searching, how often they're searched, and I use that data to help guide me. So I kind of blended those two approaches together, mixed with just go, 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 go. Lots of publishing because it just forces you to expand and go into new areas that you haven't been into. That's kind of the tactics.
Awesome. So now that you figured that out, when you started to create this content, was it a process of figuring out what is going to be resonating the most with the audience and getting feedback at every single point, or is you just putting it out there and just seeing what sticks type of thing?
Well, every content creator, excuse me, has been humbled at least once by putting out something. They're like, oh, this video, this is the one, right? I made the video. And then you put it out and nothing happens. And it totally falls flat on its face. And then the inverse of that is true. I've put out videos. I did one like last week. I was in Mexico. I did one. It was a little echoey. And I was like, I don't know about that video. It didn't feel right. Like, I don't know if people are going to like that. It absolutely popped. It got double my normal view rate in 48 hours. The first week, it was 3x my normal view rate. And it was one that I kind of doubted. So I've been humbled by the marketplace or the audience's response to my content so many times that I now try to truly be as agnostic as I can and just what do I think they need and go from there. With that said, let's put a little asterisk on that idea. When I was first putting out lots of videos, my Facebook ad videos did really well. I was able to notice in the analytics that when I put one of those out, it got more views in 48 hours than most of my other videos I had been doing. And that was definitely YouTube's algorithm saying the marketplace, the audience is hungry for this type of video. So I did definitely do more of those. And I've actually broken down kind of every step in the process at this point. But then you get to where you taught everything and it's like, uh-oh, what's my next thing? And I don't know. You just kind of start grabbing for new things, keyword research tool. What does that customer avatar need to know now? And then we try our best and the market responds how the market responds.
That's good points. Rob, yeah. I know you look like itching to ask a few questions. So
yeah, I've got a ton of questions. No, I'm first of all, great job with just getting started. I think if people are watching, I think that's the first key is just get started, right? You did yourself a 90-day challenge. I think that's a really good idea as well to kind of just force yourself to be publishing. When you first started that challenge, how long were those videos? Was there like a certain amount of time that you wanted to like hit 5 minutes, 10 minutes? What's your thoughts on that? How did you?
Great question. So earlier this year, January of 2019, I was at the Affiliate Summit West conference. I was hanging out with Neil Patel, and he was very clear: 5 to 7 minute videos, right? Do 5 to 7 minute videos. My videos tend to be a little bit longer. I've got my Learn SEO video that ranks as one of the top videos on YouTube. If you just search Learn SEO, it's literally 2 hours long. I would say if I had a rough average in there in those early videos, it would have been about 8 or 9 minutes, but that wasn't a conscious thing. That was more a function of, I'm going to teach you this one thing about business, here, how to find your customer avatar, how to do market research on Amazon, whatever it was. And my goal has always been efficiency, because when I watch YouTube videos and they've got a 73-second dubstep intro, and then they talk about themselves for 4 minutes, and then they give you 30 seconds of what you tried to watch, and then they go into their extended pitch about their membership program or the solution that'll do it all for, I really didn't like that type of content. So my whole philosophy has been get into the meat and potatoes as quickly as humanly possible, and get out with as few pitches as possible to really just deliver the answer that user is looking for. So the length is really kind of a byproduct of how long does it take to explain the answer to that specific question. If I had to give it a rough, I would say 9 minutes. Neil Patel, again, 5 to 7, very, very clear on that when we were hanging out in Vegas, but I got some 2-hour videos that do extremely, extremely well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a really good point. So basically just as short as it needs to be, and there's no really, special magic number out there. Awesome. Thanks for answering that. There's some questions that are, coming in. Got a lot of activity here. Facebook Live. Jason is asking, do you use a YouTube specific tool for video topic research?
I don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't actually. So my preferred tool is Keyword Finder, KW Finder. It is a paid tool. It's just a standard like Google keyword research tool. I essentially assume that what I'm looking for is kind of an apples to apples comparison, right? So if I'm looking at Learn SEO, SEO class, how to do SEO, I'm comparing those 3 phrases with each other. So I look at what the keyword difficulty is for all 3 and what the search volume is for all 3. I assume that ratio also applies to YouTube. They're built on similar algorithms. Alphabet owns both of them. So I don't know what the exact keyword volume is for the YouTube search. I am playing off of the data and the numbers from Google, but I'm just I'm doing, again, apples to apples comparison of, I'm going to teach my person this, what do I name it? And I name it based on what gets most searches in Google and has the lowest keyword difficulty. I look for that balance between the two.
Got it. But also, I guess, relevancy to the keyword or the title, then to the content, right? So there's no like bait and switch kind of thing.
Never. Yeah. Right. Relevance is everything, right? The relevance and engagement is what makes this internet that we use run. 70% of all internet traffic is either from Facebook or Google. Google cares so much about relevance. Facebook cares so much about engagement, and they're both paying attention to the inverse, to the other. But man, relevance and engagement that is the biggest thing out of everything. Just live by that if you're a content creator.
Perfect. Relevance and engagement. Great, thanks. I'm going to jump into YouTube now. There's quite a few questions here and some hellos. So we've got Roy, we've got Art, we've got Revamp Self from South MS. I'm thinking Mississippi. Nice. I could be totally wrong. I am Canadian. We've got Chad Michael here. Chad Michael saying, Miles is amazing. I've spent at least 5 hours on his channel in the past week alone. That's incredible. I completely set up my podcast on his advice. Set up Aweber email campaigns, now focusing on SEO. Awesome. So Chad, and we've got Arthur joining us here as well. And then we've got BL, who's going to be launching her Thinkific course next week. B, let us know what topic or what subjects you're going to be teaching on. Be really cool to know. Awesome. This is really good. There's so much. I know, Patty, looks like you've got a question there. Why don't you go for it?
We lost you, mate. There you go. Myself on mute, which is usually a good thing. So I want to actually quickly touch on online courses. So I know when we first started speaking, because I couldn't actually, at that time, I couldn't find anything, an online course, like you said, an online program that you either you were pushing on your videos or that you were doing. But what blew me away is when you're saying that you're creating this content, you just want to be, again, the most helpful internet marketer, on YouTube or on the web. But what are like some of the steps now that someone can take now that they are, they've defined like who they're going to be helping. They've sort of defined maybe like the content they're going to be, putting out there. What's like the next thing that's going to take them over the top, especially if they're in that space where they're only getting like maybe 20, let's say like a couple of 100 views, a couple of likes. What's that next level activity that's going to take them over the top?
Yeah, so I look at building a business online through audience growth, right? Everything I'm focused on is the audience. How can I give more value to my audience? How can I be of service to my audience at scale? We're blessed to be in this time that with a laptop that you already have or a cell phone that you already have, you literally have the ability to reach millions and millions of people. And everybody's got problems. We all got problems. And most people, man, turn into Google. Google is like the trusted confidant for everyone, right? Like, how do I fix this? What's going on? I felt that. What happened, right? So people are constantly searching for solutions to their problems, or at least they're aware of their problems in the back of their mind, and they're hoping they encounter some sort of solution. So when all of the content is focused on actually delivering value to that individual, and that's really where the majority of the focus goes up front, what happens is you build influence with people. And this is a key idea of influence versus persuasion, right? The old school way of direct response marketing is you run a curiosity-based Facebook ad, and then you put them into a funnel that's got deadline countdown timers up top, and then it runs them through this, and it's special offer, and it's all this pressure that we put on them. It's all this like persuasion, and sometimes it can get kind of skeezy and sleazy. I really don't like that, right? But I do like helping people solve their problems and achieve their goals. So I leverage the idea of influence instead, which is becoming their trusted advisor first before ever offering them something to sell. Help them get results in advance first before ever offering them something to sell. Just like that one person we had in the comments who said they've followed my videos. Now they've got a podcast up, they've got an opt-in page going, and now they've got their Aweber going. I never asked them for money to teach them how to do that. I put that content out, and surprise, surprise, since it's relevant and it gets good engagement, YouTube delivers that content to lots and lots of people. Now, there's probably a couple of affiliate links in there. So that's my approach to this. But if you are selling a course and you've got a course built out on Thinkific, generally speaking, you want all of this helpful content that's out there to drive people into an opt-in. Then once you get them in the opt-in, you change the environment. And at that point, you can actually sell your course from a very different environment. And that environment is from the inbox. And their inbox, in theory, is a little bit less noisy for that specific topic than the search engines are, right? An example of this is if someone goes to YouTube and types in how to learn SEO, right? And they get lots of different videos that are just pitch after pitch after pitch of this SEO course, and buy my SEO course, and buy my SEO course. And then they find that one that's a 2-hour masterclass that teaches them everything they want. And at the end, it offers them a little content upgrade to go get the 7-step PDF. Then they go opt in. Now, when we're in their inbox and I'm communicating with them and I offer them something that can help them take their education deeper, coaching, training, a course specifically, they're not in a situation where they're looking at my offer next to all those other offers on search. It's just a one-on-one conversation with me and them in their inbox. And if they know me, if they like me, and they trust me, they very well may kind of take action on my recommendation in that moment, whether it's my course or someone else's courses. So that's kind of the big idea, is we use all this content to kind of connect with people, to get them to know, like, and trust us. We then get them onto our email list. And from there, we go ahead and offer the courses on the back end of the relationship.
That's great.
Yeah, I've just one follow-up question, unless Rob, you want to jump into questions. Yeah. Okay. No worries. So
no, go for it. Yeah, ask your follow-up. Yeah.
Still ever learning how to do interviews. So one thing I want to just quickly touch on. So this is something I've done a recent webinar with Active Campaign, and a lot of the questions that we got were always about, once they're in the inbox, how much is too much communication with your audience? Is it a case of long as it's relevant, keep sending them those emails, or is there like a method, or is there a recommended practice that you take, Miles, that you think works best?
Yeah, so how much is too much is a great question. 2 emails a day every day is going to be too much. I'll tell you that much. But I email every single day. I email my broadcast segment of my list every single day, and I have for about 9 months. My list is still growing. My unsubscribe rate is not crazy. People don't hate me. And the reason I email them every day is because I want to build that relationship, and I truly do want to help them achieve their goals of growing a business online. As you do know, who built this amazing software program, it's really, really difficult to build businesses online, and it takes a really long time. So I'm trying to be motivational, encouraging, helpful, and I offer way more value than I ever ask for in return. So Ben Settle is one of the guys who talks a lot about mailing every single day. There's a few people out there who talk about mailing every day. Generally, people instantly say, whoa, I could never, my people would never deal with that. My wife has mailed every day in the spirituality niche. I've done it in this niche. And I think that most people are bored in their normal lives. I think that they work a commuter job, they commute, this, that, the other. And when you think of email as more similar to like a talk show radio personality, we tune in to these radio shows. People who commute will tune into that same talk radio personality on drive time each and every day. And they actually look forward to those types of messages. They look forward to that moment with that individual. And when you take that kind of philosophy and approach with your emails, people look forward to your emails. People are actually, man, the types of responses and the amount of engagement that I get from my emails when I'm emailing every day is absolutely amazing. It was really difficult at first. What do I say? How do I write? But then as you flex the muscle over and over enough, you get better at it. Just the same philosophy with the dirty hose water on the YouTube videos that took me, 3 months to get really confident and competent making the videos. The same thing applied with the email. And another caveat, I didn't do all of this at once, right? I did nothing but videos for 6 months. Then I put my first opt-in page out there, and then I tried to figure all that out for another 6 months. So I did a year of just that. And then I started taking my posts and putting them into my videos and turning them into blog posts, right? So there's these phases where I take on this new batch of work, like the email every day, and I really don't add anything else new on because it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to write today? And it's a lot of effort. But as we do it over and over, it gets easier and easier, and we get better at it. We learn the topics that people like to hear about. And then the one other caveat, most people are emailing their list like once every other week, only when they have something new to sell. And you've done no relationship building in between. You've given no new value in between. And boy, why are my conversions down? It's because they don't trust you. They don't like you. You haven't actually helped them solve their problems yet. So mailing every day gives me a lot more opportunities to give value, which also gives me a lot more opportunities to present offers. If you're doing the Gary Vaynerchuk jab, right hook approach, which 3 value emails before 1 offer email, if you're emailing every day, you can go through that cycle more often than if you're emailing once per week, and it will do wonders for the bottom line in your business.
Yeah, that's superb advice. And I absolutely encourage everyone, if you're not, again, if you're in a space right now where you've got that audience, or that people are starting to know, like, and trust you, yeah, definitely go out and help them on a daily basis. It's a really good point that you talk about. It's got to be almost like conversational. You're that friend that they wanted to hear from, every day, like you said, or that, like you said, that radio or that podcast that they're listening to on their ride to work. Rob, what questions we got coming up in the?
We've got some questions here. Actually, I think on the email them every day. I think one of the guys here, Arthur, says that you must be outsourcing this. So want to know if that's something you're not outsourcing it. You're shaking your head. So I think the question that I would have would be, how long are these emails? Like, how are they structured? Are they short? Are they long? Are there a variety of those? And then also, do you have a call to action in every email? Like, is there something in the footer that you put? How do you structure that?
And those are very important and great questions. So the structure of it, the layout, right? I want it to look like I'm just emailing a friend. There's plain text. It's actually an HTML email that's designed to look exactly like a plain text email, because that's exactly what a friend would see. The length of them varies greatly. If I had a target, I would shoot for about 350, 400 words per email. And I do have some sort of call to action in every email, but my goal, and let me reframe this, in every email, I want to have a link, and I want them to click on the link. I want them to get comfortable in the process of trusting, clicking on my links, and knowing that there's value on the other side of my links. So oftentimes I'll link to videos that I've published, because I still publish 3 new videos a week every week. Blog posts, I'll link them to my blog post, but I'll send them like a great Tony Robbins interview, or other interviews or podcast episodes that I've been a guest on. So I'm always giving them something, and I do want them to click on the link to go out to access that piece of content, because when there's an affiliate link in there or an offer to a sales page, I want them to be comfortable and confident that they can click on the link itself. Hey, don't outsource this process at all, because again, I mean, would you ever outsource a phone call with your best mate? Like, no, of course not, right? There's something to be said about the goal of this process. Like Howard Stern does not outsource the Howard Stern show. It's the Howard Stern show, right? Like this is the Miles Beckler show. Like I can't outsource this video, therefore. So it's that same philosophy. It just is a habit that I've started. I have a time frame. I do it in the mornings when I have a full tank of willpower. If you wait till the late afternoons, you're gonna be like, oh man, I'm so tired. Like, how can I don't have enough energy. So I'll usually sit down with a cup of coffee. And if I've got a new video out, I probably email my videos twice a week, probably email 1 or 2 of my blog posts each week. And then from there, it's just these ideas. It's just these truths about business. I tell stories, lots of stories, very worthy of talking about the power of storytelling. We humans, we love stories. Every movie, every Hollywood blockbuster follows the exact same story formula, which comes from Joseph Campbell's Hero with 10,000 Masks. So there is a framework for stories, and learning that makes things great. But you notice everywhere in life, there are marketing lessons, whether people did great things at a restaurant, or an experience you had in an airport, or an experience you had at the mail shop. Once you start to realize that you have to put out an email every day, you begin to scan your environment at all times for the little lessons in everything. And those are the little tidbits that I like to share that do really well.
Nice. So it's like you're almost like you're not just always talking about the topic that perhaps you're always like most well known for. It's like, oh, I saw this happen, and this is like almost like my thought around it, and how that could also apply to however else that you're helping them. Really great advice, superb advice. Let me see if we've got any other comments coming on YouTube. I know there's a lot of people here that are just saying Miles is amazing. It's so, it's so great to have you part of this Facebook Live. So Facebook Live, YouTube Live. So if you want to see Miles back, obviously share this, let everyone else know that Miles is here, and let's make sure we get as many people to go and see his content, because it is absolutely amazing. Yes. And actually on that, Miles, because I know we had you booked out for about 20 minutes, but I want to be really respectful of your time. Unless Rob, there's any other questions or anything else you want to follow up with?
Yeah, no, I'm just going through here as well, so I'll watch it. Go ahead, ask your question. And
yeah, I've got time, guys. I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry about me. No worries. I just want to make sure it's fine. Want to make sure we're looking after you. So, when we were talking about keyword research, I'm going to go back to this because I know there's definitely going to be beginners that are watching this video and they're like, apart from watching a 2-hour video right now, how can they like wrap their head around the basics, or what are the first few things they could do after this video? Like, what are the first few things, the absolute first things that they could do to start figuring out their strategy, the keyword strategy?
Absolutely. So, and there's 2 ways to look at it. There's the free way and the paid way, which is kind of always, right? So there's a free browser extension called Keywords Everywhere, keywordseverywhere.com. It actually loads into your Chrome browser or your Firefox browser. If you just add that extension and then you go confirm the API key, he tells you how to do it for free. Every time you go do a search on Google, it actually overlays the search volume for that exact phrase, and then it puts the suggested search terms in the right, and it tells you the search volume of each and every phrase. So just paying attention to the fact that some phrases get searched more often than other phrases helps you realize that there's this whole world of data that can allow you and help you guide your decisions. Now, the metric that's missing from the free one, because you need to run all kinds of other analysis and buy data from other sources, is how difficult is it to rank for that keyword phrase, right? So on Google, the learn SEO keyword phrase is dominated by some very, very good search engine optimization people, right? It's an extremely difficult keyword phrase. If I just looked at the data point of how many searches does this get, I'd be really excited to be like, wow, I could get so much traffic from this phrase. But then you got to look at the difficulty. And that's what I really like about the keyword finder tool. It has kind of a difficulty rating, and you can actually sort by difficulty. So I can type in learn SEO, sort by the difficulty score, and I can go find the lowest difficulty score that also has relevance, again, because it's always about relevance, and pretty good search engine kind of search results, search volume. And what you want to do in the beginning is focus more on the lower search volume phrases that have much lower keyword difficulty, because your site doesn't have much authority. But as you've published 100 posts or 200 posts or 300 posts over the course of the next 1, 2, 3 years, you will build more authority. You'll attract backlinks. Maybe you get on podcasts like this and you get backlinks from the guys at Thinkific. Thanks for the backlink, guys. You know, you build your authority, and then you can start to rank for more difficult phrases. So that's kind of a long tail keyword strategy. But the first thing is just going to be aware. If that's new to you, just add on keywords everywhere. Another tool that's kind of fun to play around with is Google Trends, google.com/trends. You could type in a phrase like veganism, and then you could type in vegetarian, and you could see, or vegan and vegetarian, since that would be comparable. You could see what the trend line is, and you could search it out over 5 years, and you could see if one of those phrases is going down and if one of those phrases is going up. So if you want to make a masterclass on something, you might as well make it focused on something that's trending. Now, that's not going to tell you the search volume. You would need, again, the Keywords Everywhere Keyword Finder tool, but it'll tell you the trend of things over long periods of time, so you can make sure you're kind of in front of a trend versus going after something that's falling flat on its face. How's that for a off the cuff?
That's great. I was wondering about this actually. What we're sort of thinking about is whilst you're talking about, if someone has got maybe like a small network or a small audience or even a small list, and again they're new to SEO, could they actually reach out to their audience and say, like, what did you search for when you're trying to get the resolution of this problem? Is that like a viable method or not?
Absolutely. I mean, asking questions there's entire $2,000 courses on how to ask questions to people, right? And survey your audience. Frank Kern from 10 years ago in the underachiever method was ask people what they want and then go create it for them and sell it to them, was like the entire business model. I think Russell Brunson teaches to run ask campaigns in Facebook ads. So literally you pay on a Facebook ad to ask people, what is your #1 challenge with whatever that thing is you do, right? Just fill in the blank on that. What is your #1 challenge with going vegan, right? And answer below so I can make you some great content. And people will absolutely tell you what they want to see content on. So if you've got an email list, 100% send it out. And if you have a small email list, know that huge things can come from small email lists. I want to tell a quick story on that. But before we do, when I was surveying my list in the early days of what kind of videos would you like to see, I literally just said, click reply and tell me what videos you want to see. I didn't use any fancy software note, because again, remember, this is a friend. I'm trying to make it like a friend. And people will click reply and be like, oh man, it'd be great if you could show me how to do that. And it's like, huh, I hadn't thought about that. Like, oh, I could, easy. I've done that a couple times. And right there to your inbox, it can show up. If you get a list of 30,000, you may want to put a form in place, right, to manage it a little bit better than that. But if you have a small list, that's great. So quick story. About a year ago, my list was 3,500 subscribers. My list is still, well, it's under 10,000 subscribers. So I was at 3,500 subscribers. I enter an affiliate contest, and I'm up against some big time sales funnel gurus who have lists of well over $100,000 or 100,000 subscribers, excuse me. So guess who sold more? I did, with my little list of 3,500 subscribers compared to Mr. Big Old Fancy Pants Guru with his list of at least 100,000 subscribers. And the vendor was amazed. He actually called me on the phone. He was like, who are you? Like, you just won this competition. I have no idea who you are. How'd you do it? How big's your list? And I told him, and it blew him away. And the truth here is that ultimately it's about trust. It's about relatability. It's about authenticity. Because when he was sending out his PLF, his product launch formula, and it was just that normal BS that everyone gets in their inbox and we all report it as spam and we filter it away, or it doesn't even hit the primary inbox, I'm just sending my daily message with a story about how this thing helped me. Here's the results I got. I showed a video of how to do it on the inside, and I absolutely dominated with that really small list. If you look into it, there's a lot of people who are hyper pro small lists, because the more specific your solution is tailored to a very small audience, then when you're speaking with them, you're using their language patterns. They know that you are all about them, for example, versus trying to be the everything to everyone remote control car person. Like, no, I make 2.5-inch racing drones. And you could speak to that audience through that specificity, and a really small list of hyper focused people can be much more valuable than a gigantic list with no relationship, which is why you could probably go buy a list of 1 million email addresses right now, and it will make you $0 because there's no relationship, there's no focus, there's no relevance to it. But you could build a list list of 300 subscribers, 500 subscribers, and you might be able to get a 20, 30% conversion rate on that to a membership program, to a course on Thinkific, et cetera, et cetera.
And I think, that's something I want people today to take heart from that. It's not just about the size of the list. It's about, again, that quality, those quality conversations that you're having with people. One thing I wanted to quickly touch on, which was about niching down or niching down from my side of the pond. How far is too far when you're niching down?
Yeah, that's a great question. And unfortunately, it's a really difficult metric to come up with. So my wife and I, our first site is in the overlap of the angel spirituality, meditation, and channeled messages. If we had run the numbers on this, like all of the, here's how to make a niche site, fancy pants salespeople tell you, right? All of the signs would have said, don't go down that path. Don't do it. There's no money in it for you at all. Luckily, we ignored them and we just created great content, and a lot of people showed up. So what I like to look for is, I call it like a modern niche theory. And that's where you're overlapping different things, right? So in the early 2000s, you could go after the photography niche and you could become the guy in the photography niche. Today, there's some really big brands, really big magazines, some content powerhouses that most, independent publishers like us are going to have a really difficult time ranking for that. But the iPhone photography category, right? So it's interlinking these similar ideas, not just iPhones, but iPhone photography. That intersection of two separate ideas, that is where really the modern niches are doing, or niches are doing really, really well. I got a friend, she is travelfashiongirl.com, and she is the intersection of carry-on only travel, fashion for women, right? So it's carry-on travel, fashion for women. That's her niche. Bingo, works perfectly for her. Man, there's so many interesting examples of that. Another friend teaches fitness for horseback riding, right? Not how to ride the horse, but how to do fitness, which in theory, fitness is fitness, right? They could go to Daily Burn, they could go watch any other thing, but it's fitness for the horseback riding. Now that person who loves their horse, and if you know anything about horse people, they're fanatical about their horses. Golf is the same way, right? Like yoga for golfers could be a great niche, because the golfer, even though you're teaching the same yoga poses that are done at the regular class in any town in the world, since it is tailored to them, the golfers feel like you're there for them. Theoretically, you would have a story about it. My friend with the horses, she has a horse property. She got a couple of hectares, and she's got like 3 horses on the property. They've got like so it's a part of her life. So all of her videos and stuff have her horse in the background, like, munching in the paddock or whatever it is. So it's that kind of idea of how do you intersect what the different things you're really good at to find that overlap. So for my wife and I, again, we're not in the meditation space. That would be way too general, and we couldn't even compete in that space. Headspace is a huge company, but like channeled angel meditations is this like super unique thing that most people are like, what is that? And yet our site gets, 8 million visits per year to our content in that world. I don't necessarily know how to go down to a point where you're too small. I think, make sure there are books on Amazon. Go into the Kindle the Kindle store on Amazon. Is there a sub category for that? So there's a subcategory for meditations. There's a subcategory for spirituality, for meditation. There's a subcategory for horses. There's a subcategory for, right? So if there's subcategories for it, you're pretty safe. Magazines.com. Is there a magazine about it, right? Quilting, knitting. There was one website I was looking at the other day. It was art knitting, right? So it's not just knitting and crocheting, it's actually making art through knitting and crocheting. And she was selling how to do that. So it's like, is there a magazine on the topic? Because if a magazine can publish and mail out these thick pieces of, printed on trees, essentially, with lots of advertisements in them, theoretically, there's the ability for you to go create a successful business on it too. But I've been amazed and surprised I got one friend who has a I Love Knitting site and fan page, and he sells t-shirts and sewing machines to grandmas who love knitting, of all things. So it's kind of an amazing world we live in today, really, with the niches. Yeah,
we've got a lady that teaches people how to hula hoop, and I realized it's like, how about that? Yeah, that's like been in shape using a hula hoop. So it's like
there's a guy out there who does handstands. How to do handstands. His entire business is how to do handstands. He has a course on how to do handstands, and he is crushing it, like big numbers on like not how to do yoga, not how to do fit, like literally handstands.
Man, Yeah, I don't think you can be too niche. I guess you'll figure it out once you start like getting too niche, and then there is no audience anymore. But yeah, no, those are good examples. So we're gonna have to get those examples, and we'll share in the comments. Miles, I want to go back to you know, doing the things like looking at your. If you guys visit Miles' YouTube channel, and then you on the top right where there's like go and I think it's like download this guide, get the free course.
Gotcha.
Like this landing page, it's the most basic landing page. I'll share it here. I'll try to share it with you guys.
This is my ugly landing page.
Yeah, it's like the most basic landing page. And yeah, I'm just kind of guessing that you didn't really, you know, want to, you know, make it too complicated for yourself. Here it is. I'll share it with you here.
Actually, it's for others is who I don't want to make it too complicated for. This converts about 45% of traffic to it. So it's relatively warm traffic, right? They're generally entering through my YouTube channel, and a big part of my goal was to grow it with no money invested to this point. So it's all organic traffic that I've grown. So they come to it, and I did a video that breaks it down really, really specifically. So I don't want any imagery in the background that's going to distract them. I don't want to distract them. I want them to read the headline, and my headline is designed to impact in kind of a couple of ways. Number one, I've been where you are, right? Needing a side hustle, wanting a side hustle, starting a hustle, and I've figured out how to get where you want to be. $1 million business, right? So that's my big hook is I went from down here to up here, and I will guide you like the helpful guide from where you are to where you want to be. That's the emotions that go through it. 3 bullet points. I'm trying to hit on the benefits. I think there's a misspelled word in there. At least somebody said there was, and I never fixed it. I know that people have a really difficult time choosing a niche or a niche. That is one of the most common things I hear. So the number 1 bullet point is how to choose the perfect niche every time. Exact step-by-step process. I want them to feel like they're going to get the steps. How to drive traffic and lead, like all, and that's it. And then just click here and get it. It's digestible in 6 seconds. The human attention span, as from a study by Microsoft, is 9 seconds, and it is actually shorter than a goldfish. Like a goldfish has a longer attention span. We're all hyper distracted. And if your landing page can't be consumed, understood, and a decision made within 4 to 6 seconds, you're losing them. They're probably hitting the back button. So that all of those little reasons are why this works the way it is. And then it's a 2-step. You click the button. We're actually so lazy in this age we live in that like, oh, you want me to type in my email address? Like, oh, I don't have time for that. So you click the button. It's a micro commitment that comes from Cialdini's book, Influence. And then the likelihood of you taking that next step goes up, and it's like enter your email on that is what it says after the button. And then for people who are interested, 3 follow-up emails is all they get. Number 1, I send them the thing they got. Number 2, I'm like, hey, did you get it? And I know they got it because I'm tracking that. I just want them to reply and say, yeah, thanks, buddy. And then 1 affiliate link that's masked as a story. It's a great story. It's an Andre Chaperone link. And then they go onto my broadcast list. And then it's just daily emails because I want as quickly as I can to get them on that daily email list because it's a story. We're on a story path, and they might jump in and it might make sense. It might not. But by email 2 or 3, they're seeing that the story is leading over to here. And today the story was I actually started a fan page. I've been very anti-Facebook personally for a while. And it was because of this live, right? I promoted this live in kind of a unique, creative way to tell the story that now we're on and you can catch this live that's exclusive on Facebook there. And yeah, I kind of tangentialized on that one, gentlemen.
No, that's good. That's good.
Happy to oblige. Happy to help anytime.
Ugly landing pages and ugly sales pages work. They work. Like so, one of the things that funnel softwares are having to do, and theme developers, you'll see it a lot, is they need to make their themes and funnel look fancy because they need to make them look fancy to get you to pay exorbitant prices for funnel software that you could do on WordPress for inexpensive, right? So there's this like they add, oh, well, this theme could do that and this and that. Like, has anybody tested this? Like, did any of that stuff we just tacked on, all the glitter and rainbows and bedazzling of our landing pages, did that help conversions? A lot of time the data says no, and simple still works extremely well. This is a data-driven decision. I've done a lot of testing on this page, and we have one very similar that's not very pretty. And my wife loves pretty. That's a funny thing. We always find this balance between, she's like, but it's ugly. I'm like, but it converts like 52%. Yeah. So we find the balance in between the two. But boy, let the data drive your decisions. You'll be amazed at the benefit long-term.
That's really like, it's amazing page. I'm completely blown away. Just again, how short it is. I want to quickly ask about the tried and true, hold the video sales letter and those really like long form letters. Like, where do they play a part within this? Is that like on maybe like a one-time upgrade or somewhere else? Would you use anything along those lines?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a time and a place for it, right? But the time and the place is usually after other specific actions that help people pre-qualify themselves through their actions before getting them in front of that sales message at that moment. So I've got one video sales letter that's like 46 minutes long, which is kind of that tried and true method. We are working on a written letter that we're going to test against it because we think it might be too long, but you always feel that way. The old school of direct response marketing, what we're all doing on the internet now comes from the old days of a magazine ad that the ad was a long copy ad. It looked like an editorial article, and they called them advertorials, right? And you read this ad and it was like the magic fat burning tree out of the Amazon. And at the end, it's got this little cutout thing. And it's like, for the free report, cut this out and mail it in. And then you mail it in and they mail you back a free report. That's a 36-page free report. It's actually a sales letter. And you read the report and it tells you all the stuff about it. And then they sell you the actual product. When they send you the product, it comes with another book that's generally another sales letter, right? And this is what we're all replicating online today. We just don't have to deal with the mail and the time in between the stamps and all that stuff. So I still run one-time offers on my wife's platform. They opt in and then we make an offer, a really special deal offer. That's on I think it's a written page right now. I'm constantly testing written versus video. And then there's a one-click upsell, which is presented in video format. Like, hey, great, we got that coming. Would you like this product also? It's normally $300. We'll do it today for $97. So there is a time and a place for that. But generally speaking, all of my goal and my wife's goal is to reach more people with great relevant content that people engage in, and then get them onto our email list with simple pages like that so we can build more of a relationship. And then we let them find their way to a path that's going to help them buy the products we have that will help them solve their specific problems. And how do we know what their specific problems are? Well, when they click on an email about how to do an angel card reading or a free angel card reading, I know they're at least a little interested in angel card readings, and I could take them down a new follow-up sequence that leads them over to our certified angel card reader course that we have. If they don't click on that, they're not going to see that pitch for that product that has the long video sales letter. They go down a different path. So that's how you can start to use some of this really kind of fancy automation stuff. ActiveCampaign is one of the ones I use for that kind of sequencing on it. But yeah, like at some point you do need to convert the individual into a customer. So I've got a little inner circle membership program at contentconversion.com. It's a long sales letter and it's ugly. It's one picture, maybe two pictures, and it's all text. It looks like just that old school internet marketing style because I don't want them distracted. I want them to just go through that. But I've generally kept it relatively difficult to find. You rarely will find a link from YouTube to it at all because I don't want people to encounter it until the relationship and the pre-qualification is at the right point to kind of give me a higher likelihood of them being responsive to that message.
I like that. That's great. We have a lot of online course creators. We also have a lot of YouTubers that are starting to come on board and creating courses. What's a tip that you may have for a YouTuber that has a pretty decent following, really like specific topic that they talk on in their channel? How do they then turn that into a product, into a course? Like, what would be a couple first steps?
Yeah. So, like, number one is look inside of yourself, right? Like what problems have you solved in your life? What have you done in your life that others want to replicate? What comes easy to you that others want to do, right? Like you actually have to be able to help people, right? Us as course creators, our goal is to help people have transformations in their life, right? That's really, truly the goal. The goal is not to sell something. That's the wrong goal. That's the mechanism that gets them into the course that's going to help them achieve a transformation in their life. And then, as we all know, when you get to that next level, there's all these new problems, and then you can help them solve those problems and those problems from there. So number one is demonstrate your ability to help them create positive change in their lives through your videos. Create more videos. Daily videos for extended periods of time work absolute wonders. Can't do daily. Video every 48 hours. YouTube shows you that 48-hour metrics and analytics for a very specific reason. My wife's been doing a video every 48 hours for some time now, and she's had more videos go viral in the last month than any other month we've had. And her channel's been going since 2012. I'm doing 3 videos. How many videos, how frequently can you publish great, helpful content that's really going to help them? Then how do you mix in those videos that are more similar to a webinar type situation, that are teaching upfront, and at the end it leads them to needing that actual course that you've created? And when you've done enough goodwill, right, it's all about getting that goodwill out first, and they watch that video that's got this kind of like, you lead them through, you tell them the story, and I was here, and then I had to go through all these challenges, and then I learned this method that now my life's up here, and I can show you how to get from here to here. If you're interested, go check out my site over here. And then they get into your sales message. It's all about making sure the story makes sense before getting them there. So many people think, whether it's selling a course or being an affiliate, it's like, oh, okay, I just got to like, go to my link, buy my thing, it's going to help. Like, it's going to help them, but you haven't necessarily taken the time to demonstrate that you can help them or to build the trust. Because most of the reason why people don't buy is because they don't trust you. They don't believe you. They don't trust that you can actually help them. They don't trust that you're going to deliver anything. They've been scammed before. They've tried 17 other products like yours before. They do not trust you. How do you build trust? Help them. Right? Like I had this one idea of, let's say you're moving from one house to the next. You back up the U-Haul truck as we have, which is like a rental moving truck in your driveway, and 2 neighbors walk up. And neighbor number 1 is like, hey man, you give me $100, I'll help you move all that stuff. Neighbor number 2 walks straight to the boxes, starts lifting up boxes and putting them in the truck, and he just helps you. Which neighbor do you like in that scenario? Of course, it's the one who didn't ask for money first. It's the person who just rolled up their sleeves to help. Here's the next question. Who are you wanting to reciprocate? It's the guy who it's the person, could have been a lady, right? It's the person who just helps you to help you, right? There is a law of reciprocity in our world. And when you give enough value to people, they're like, okay, I saw it in my comments, man, Miles, how can I give you money? You don't have any courses. Like, I got to buy something from you. You have given me so much value. You've helped my business. How do I give you money? And I literally refused for like 2.5 years before I actually put like a little membership together, because it was just, it was literally every day I was getting multiple messages of like, I need to give you money because you've given me so much value at this point. So it's just about putting out that value. Do a little bit of keyword research and learn how to optimize a video is one thing, since you did ask about YouTube. And thumbnails are really, really, really super important. I did a video on 2019 YouTube optimization strategy. With the new YouTube Studio, they show us the click-through rate on the different videos, and you can see which videos have a low click-through rate, and sometimes putting a more compelling title and a more compelling thumbnail can get people to take action. If you look at my most recent thumbnails, I'm not repeating my title. I'm trying to use like, no one tells you this, right? Like, what? Nobody tells me what? I have to click on that and watch this video, right? So how do you get that curiosity, right? So make money from nothing. The money is in the niche. No one tells you this. That if you look at that video, like which one of those top 12 videos actually has more views? I can't see it from there, Rob. Can you see?
Let's see here. The first 2. The second one. Yeah. The
second one does. And like the whole first line, yeah, like just looking in that, you can see a pattern. And this is what I like to do, is go to great YouTube creators and I'll look at their videos. I'm like, all right, which one of these videos has the highest view rate? Like absurdly higher, because some of those have over 10,000, a lot of them have 2,000. What is it about that 10,000? Was it the keyword they chose? Is it just a high volume keyword phrase? Maybe I can go search the keyword and find out. Or is it the title and the thumbnail were so compelling and curiosity inducing that when it shows up on the browse feature, right? Because if you click on any one of those videos, all of a sudden 6 of my competitors will show up all around me. And sometimes our eyes are drawn to those videos that are playing next to the video we want or sitting next, and we click on that one. And the thumbnail is that attention grabber in that situation. I think thumbnails are more important than most people realize.
Yeah, we spoke about, we host like a regular like YouTubers meetup here in Thinkific HQ in Vancouver with Steve Dotto, who's a well-known course creator and someone who's helped lots of people out in the tech space. And we had like, I think the talk was like 40 minutes long. It was all about thumbnails, trying and testing the different ones. Yep. And I think you've definitely got on something here, because it's the grabbing their attention away from from what they're looking at right now, and then oh wow, I've got to see whatever this is about. And it's funny because those are the things that are going to make your channel. I know like the algorithm does something where if it knows that you're having that sort of attention on your thumbnails, it's going to keep recommending more and more.
YouTube's, yeah, they're checking your click-through rate, right? So they're looking at your click-through rate. What's your click-through rate from a SERP result? What's your click-through rate from the browse feature and from the suggestive videos? And then they're looking at what's your stick rate. How long does that person stick around based on a percentage and a total time? Which is why I don't fiddle around with 47-second dubstep BS intros. It's, hey, I'm Miles. Here's my domain. Let's do this. This video is about boom, and I'm in, because the moment they're like, they're taking too long, back, or clicking on one of the other people's. And you know, it's an evolution. As you scroll down, Rob, the new ones have green in the text. This is something new I'm testing. It gives more contrast. If you scroll down a tiny bit, they're all white except for one. I tried it once. And the white, there's no contrast, right? Your eye doesn't jump to the ones that were all white like it does to that little bit of green that's up top. And then I was trying these big red ones that are confusing and busy. So like nobody has, I think it's so powerful for people to realize nobody has their stuff figured out. Like you guys over there, you've built a great software. I guarantee there are days that it is a mess. It's a disaster. There's alarm bells going off. There's fires going off. And you just have these moments of like, how did I get here? This is like in every business, but every entrepreneur is like that. And the viewers only see what we're publishing. You don't see the 24 takes that I canned before getting that one that worked. You only see the one that worked, and you might have a flawed thought of like, Miles had it all figured out. Or you look and you see that I got 89,000 subscribers, but what you don't see is I did 90 videos in 90 days and it only brought me 124 subscribers. 90 videos in 90 days. Wow. Brutal amount of work, 124 subscribers. Most people look at that and they're like, oh, this doesn't work. Well, you're right. If you quit, it doesn't. But if you stick with it for 3 years, you might be amazed at what you create. At month 4 of a video a day every day, it was at 450 videos, at 120 videos. But then it went to 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, 7, 20, boom, 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 up, 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 right? The law of compounding takes place. But, you know, it's building a business is messy. Nobody knew what they were doing as they were doing it. We all figure it out as we go forward. We create lots of problems and we fix and do the best we can. But I've got some thumbnails that just flat out don't work. I got one there that doesn't even have text on the screen. I'm just holding up a book. Like that's not going to work. But we just have to pick and choose our battles every day. And I'm putting out my video. I'm putting out my email every day. Those things, I don't even care. Everything else could be burning down, but my video is going up and my email is going out because I know that moves the KPI in my business. That moves the relationship forward. That moves the trust forward. And that's the most important thing that I'm doing every single day.
What I really admire, Miles, like with a lot of YouTubers that we meet, probably all of them that are really successful on YouTube, is that they have like immense patience. They're always in it for the long play. I'm kind of curious from you, you know, what keeps you sane when you're like after 90 days and you've only had like 100 subscribers? Yeah. What keeps you like, okay, this is still worth it to like keep going forward? Do you have like a community? Do you have sort of like a few guys that you know, like what is it that keeps you, you know, motivated to, you know, stick with it?
So my wife and I, our first business, we started in 2009, and she did it all with blogging, right? With written word. She's actually really good on camera too, but she's just great at writing. We hit a point 3 years in where we weren't getting very good results, but we were treating it like a hobby. We were not treating it like a business at the time. And we were getting okay results. And we had this kind of heart to heart of like, is this working? Are we ever going to be able to pay for ourselves? And we were like, you know what? Either way, we need to get these messages out. What we're doing is special. It's in the spirituality niche. We love what we do. I meditate every day still. And we just kind of committed to actually doing more. And it started to work. And then year 4 started to really grow. And then year 5 started to compound. And year 6, the numbers started getting absolutely crazy. So I went through the process, right? I went through the long period of trial and error. When I started this channel, I knew what 3 years of hard work would bring me. I had no doubts in my mind that 3 years, I don't care what my results are on day 4, day 40, day 400. I don't even care because I know what this is going to be at year 5 as long as I keep with it. So it's almost like I now am here on earth. I know that I'm here to prove to all the other people who are kind of dabbling that you can't dabble. You have to be consistent as can be with a high frequency for long periods of time, multiple years. and people want it. And the fake gurus, this is what pissed me off about fake gurus. I gotta get on my fake guru soapbox at least once. They preach that you can get it fast, that it's easy, that it's this hack or this hack, and all of a sudden you're one thing away and voila, you're a millionaire. No, that's not how it works. Behind every overnight success, there's 10 years of heartache and struggle, and that's the truth. So I've been doing every 30 days, I do an effort update. So on day 30, I was like, look, I got 1,000 views and I got 18 subscribers. My mom, my sister, my grandma, my wife. I got this other account I had, right? And I've just been honest, tracking it the whole way so people could look back and see that like my first videos were terrible. I was awkward. I was uncomfortable on camera at best. Now I've kind of got it down, right? Well, you do it 478 times in a row. Surprise, you get better at it. So it's almost like I knew it was going to happen, and now I have to just do it in plain view so other people can go back and not just see where I'm at, but look back at the path and see that this clearly is a true and honest path, and it's a repeatable path. I've taught this hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people in all kinds of interesting niches. It works every single time. The power's in the follow through. The strength is in the follow through. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
I love that, man. I love that you're doing the effort update. I think it's really important not to just see your success now, but also for you to then show them that, hey, I didn't wake up like this. You know, it took time, and it took a lot of energy and effort, and a lot of long days. So yeah, no, good for you, Miles. Really excited. I mean, Patty, did you have any other final questions? We're like blown
away, mate. Thank you so much. Like tremendous value, and I'm going to be watching this again definitely very soon. The moment it's rendered and it's up there. So Miles, thank you so much, mate. I learned tons today, and you know, for anyone that's watching this on the replay, or now you watch this on Facebook, you know, if you've got any more comments, you know, give Miles a shout out as well. You know, he really has been amazing, completely selfless and helping out. Definitely like the Thinkific community, but also like our YouTube, Facebook community as well. And you know, Miles, importantly, mate, I know we've got it there on YouTube, but where else can people go and find you?
Yeah, just search Miles Beckler. Like, I'm the only Miles Beckler in the world. I was blessed with an incredibly unique name. So if you search me on Facebook, you'll find me. If you search me on like wherever, a podcast, I got, you know, just search me on whatever it is you consume content on, and I'll show up there. I got a blog, I got a YouTube channel. It's all Miles Beckler.
Amazing. Miles, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Rob, I'll leave you to sign off, mate.
No, that's it. Miles, just thank you again, guys. Give this video a like, leave a comment, share this. I think it's a fantastic session. And yeah, we'll definitely be doing a replay on this inside the Facebook community. So again, Miles, thank you so much. If there's anything we can help with, you know where we are. We're here for you.
You guys are awesome. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.